What's up, people? Frank here, your favorite sorcerer. And in one of my Facebook groups where I teach students, and more people are coming in, is growing by the day. Um, I made a post where I asked people to post their questions about magic, their most pressing questions, what interests them most. And I'm going to create a video series out of this, okay? And I'm going to answer a couple of those questions in in a video like this, right? And for some reason I felt compelled to answer this question first. And this question was along the lines of something like how no, the best way to evolve my consciousness. um, let's first define consciousness, okay? Now, what is consciousness? Consciousness is awareness, and that includes understanding. The more awareness there is, the more understanding there is. Okay, and improving the quality of something, I define as reducing its disorder, confusion, and entropy. Okay, now most of the things that we value actually have that quality. They reduce the complexity, reduce complexity is probably not the right word, but they reduce the disorder. Okay, so when you look at a diamond, all right, a diamond is very valuable, right? When you look into its molecular structure, the carbon atoms take on a very, very stable form, right? And that is built upon, and at the end of this process, you get a very unique and precious quality, which is like, yeah, the qualities of the diamond, right? Very rare, not easily found, and very valuable, right? Now, ideally, as a person, you grow in your understanding throughout your entire life. I'm not saying that that happens with everybody, okay? Because there are obviously like 80-year-old people that stopped growing spiritually and intellectually when they were 14, right? But they're very positive examples too. People that were able to grow throughout their lives to increase their understanding of the universe, right? And that's what we should all strive to do. Now, when it comes to the spiritual world or the spiritual activities, okay, then you could roughly say that there are like two categories, right? We got the mystic and we got the sorcerer or the magician. Okay, the magician is in part mystic himself too, okay, because you have to use mystical techniques in order to reach the states of consciousness necessary to be able to communicate with spiritual forces, to be able to move energies and to make a ritual work, you know. So like I said, a magician is always a mystic just out of necessity, because without a little bit of mysticism, and usually the more the better, you will not be a good magician. Okay. However, here's where the difference comes in. Okay, a mystic relies on scriptures as well as his insights. Okay. Okay. So there's big space for delusion, for deluding yourself. Okay. And you know, the problem that usually occurs at that point is that there was some high level mystic many, many years back. A scripture was created, and other people follow at one point, okay? And it turns into a religion that's very static, okay? It has nothing to do with the original idea anymore. That was actually the source of that thing. It was about personal insight and union with the divine, right? And that is often lost if you can't apply, you know, the scientific method. And, science as we know it right now is actually the descendant of it descended from alchemists, okay? You know, some of the greatest scientists that you ever heard of were actually occultists too, okay? I mean, the list is too long. Should I throw a name out here? I mean, they're like literally too many. Newton would be one. I mean, these guys were highly initiated occultists and alchemists. So this stuff is not as crazy as you might think. You know. Now, when it comes to magic, here's where it differs from mysticism. Yes, you will have to do some mystical techniques. However, you will gain those insights. You will write them down in your magical diary. Then you will use these different states that you achieved, that you attained, in order to cause a specific pre-planned effect in the physical universe. And when you're able to do that, that's actually a truth that you can go with. Okay? So your evolution of consciousness and you being on the right track is actually being backed up by the results that you accomplish. You see what I mean? If I'm able to go into a different state of consciousness, conjure up a angelic, demonic, some sort of spiritual force, communicate with that, and in the moment of the ritual, it is absolutely 100% real, and I can use that to cause an effect in the outside world that is pre-planned and objectively real to everybody. That means there must be something to it. However, if I'm a mystic and I just meditate and I have all kinds of experiences and I keep, who the fuck, how the fuck are you gonna say that this is real, that it is true, and that there is actually something to it, right? So the magician, in my opinion, has, if you apply this stuff in the right way, has the chance to progress actually faster on a spiritual journey and in his refinement of consciousness, because he uses that feedback mechanism. All right. Now, you might have noticed that I haven't said anything about morals. Okay. However, morals are, true morals, not something that you just adopted from somebody else. True morals have to come from within. And there's quite a natural development towards that as you grow spiritually, towards ethics, ethical behavior, because will have a concrete experience of everything being one, and everything will have some sort of effect, cause and effect, even though it's not the widely understood definition of karma. Okay. Now, it's again ethics. I believe there are some sort of universal ethics and universal morals. However, accepting that is up to you, and you have to come to your own conclusions. Okay. Now, I hope that was helpful, some food for thoughts, and see you in the next one. Frank White signing out. Peace.